What's going on, everyone? Puck you back at it for March 6th. I'm Mike Burns from Why Lose Sports, and I'm joined as always by Why Lose NHL handicapper Les Victorie. We're going to dive right into tonight's games. Les, how the hell you doing today, brother?
Doing just great because McJesus pulled through for the fam yesterday. And if we look at that game, and I don't know if you watched it or not, I watched most of it because I just was expecting that Stanley Cup final kind of mentality for both these teams to go into this game. And that's exactly what we got, Burnsy. That was a tight game. It was actually kind of boring for a good chunk of that game because it was so tight. There was no time, no space in that game. Obviously, Edmonton was our max bet spot last night, so we were watching it very closely. So I thought when McLeod missed the wide open net with 3 minutes left, I thought that was it. I think I pulled my hamstring when I jumped up and he missed it on my couch. But you know what? It was a really good effort on the road by Edmonton, with having a little bit of rest against a Boston team that, you know, just finished up a back-to-back spot with Toronto the night before. So really big win for the fam. We actually had a really big night last night. We missed the parlays by a hair. We needed one more save from Skinner, and it just didn't happen. But not a big deal. Big night overall with Edmonton cashing. Florida, again, sorry for your Devils. They love giving up that first goal. We took the money on that first goal action for Florida. We took Florida on the money line. Winnipeg didn't get there for us to last night there. They kind of shit the bed a little bit from the stupid crackheads there down the highway. But all in all, another big profit-making night in the Why Lose fam.
Won't be forgetting about the underdog of the night, man. Those San Jose Sharks.
Oh, yes.
They almost pulled me out against the Stars, brother.
You saw my card and you texted me and you're like, what the fuck are you doing putting San Jose plus 1.5 against the Stars? And you know what? It's funny because from a handicap spot, you got to put the emotions aside. Like 10 out of 10 times, anybody that knows anything about the NHL and the standings and where they're at are going to say the Stars are going to mop the floor with these guys. And yeah, maybe they would have. But against San Jose, they're actually 5-5 in the last 10. You know, so there was a lot of value to sprinkling a little bit of that fucking money on the underdog when you're already given a goal. And they were up 6-3, Burnsy. I was ready to text you and be like, I told you I was going to take the money line, but I didn't want to get greedy. So we took the 1.5 and then they fucking blew it anyway. So it worked out.
It would have been nice getting that plus 240, man. But, up 6-3 in the third. I mean, it's the fucking Sharks, but I don't know, for whatever reason, they got Dallas's number, whatever you want to say it, right?
Yeah. Similar to tonight's one on the card, right?
And we're going to get right to it. We got Toronto and Buffalo. Sabres are plus 155, Toronto at minus 190. Over under here set at 6.5. The Sabres in the last 10 have been 6-4, playing some solid little hockey. The under for the Sabres have actually cashed 7 times in the last 10. But the key stat of the night is the head-to-head between Buffalo and Toronto. Buffalo is 7-3 in the last 10 against Toronto. They've won the last 3, 2 of them this year. And the last one, they kicked the fucking shit out of them 9-2. You know, Buffalo's been playing some solid hockey, man. You know, they've won 5 of their last 7. And it's all about the guy between the pipes. What do you think about Kuukkanen?
Man, he's been great. He's been a really weird story because Buffalo has kind of struggled all season. It's like you try to convince that they're in it, and then you see that they're not because they're losing all kinds of games. But like any team, players get hot. Whether it's the goalie, forwards, it don't matter. Like any team, it does happen. And right now, he's hot. However, I mean, this is a big rivalry, right? Like you're just, you're a short swim over the pond and for Buffalo to come into Canada and face the Leafs here. So there's a big rivalry here. There's going to be a lot of Buffalo fans. There's going to be a lot of Leaf fans. Obviously, it's in Toronto, but these teams it's like they play with 6 skaters all game when they play each other. The goalies don't. There hasn't been a shutdown performance by any goalie on either of these teams when they play head-to-head. in years.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Buffalo's been playing well. Like I said, Kukanen real solid over the year. He's 2-4-6 with a 9.14 on a crappy team. But Buffalo has not given him much support lately. They've only scored more than 2 goals in a single game one time. Scored more than 3 goals in one time in the last 10 games. So they haven't given him much support, but he's only let in 2 or fewer goals in 14 of his last 21. In the last 21 starts, he's 13-8 on a very inconsistent team here. So it'll be kind of an interesting to see if that trend keeps running. And I mean, we all know Toronto's got it, right? Offensive juggernauts. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They did take an L from Boston, but they play Boston tomorrow. Now, I'm kind of looking at this game thinking, could the Leafs maybe be looking past the Sabres here and looking for a revenge spot against Boston tomorrow night? What do you think about that angle?
So I don't think the Leafs have this one in the bag at all. Like, this is 2 points that if they want it, they're going to have to go get it. And they're going to have to go get it and put a big effort in. And they need to think about tonight's game and not being down tomorrow. But with that being said, if history serves us, and as cappers, this is all we have, right? We have the history of the two teams. We have the analytics of what's happening now. Buffalo's kind of owned Toronto over the years. They're 7-3 head to head. Like, they've won over every two games they play, they win the majority of them. So it's kind of an interesting spot. It's not a gimme for anybody. I mean, anybody can win on any given night in the NHL. That's just how the world in the NHL works. So it is a tough one, but Toronto hasn't been that great at home either. So you would think Toronto, but you know what? The interesting thing about playing in Toronto is they actually have one of the quietest rinks in the entire NHL. One of the biggest franchises in the entire NHL on a decibel scale is one of the quietest, which is
full of suits.
Weird. I mean, it's all rich people because it costs an arm and a leg to go to a fucking game anyway. So they're not bringing their blowhorn and their fucking bell, but whatever. And so you know what? I think this is a trap spot for Toronto here. You're going to get Samsonov tonight. Wool's probably going to play tomorrow in Boston, but I like plus money, Burnsy, and you know what? I might be all over this underdog.
Listen, you talk about Samsonov. I mean, he's definitely been sus. I mean, he's shown times throughout the year of, brilliance, right? And with all the injuries and stuff, this is our guy. This is our guy. But I mean, he's got an 88.3 save percentage and a 3.23 goals against on the year. The last time he played the Sabres, he got fucking yanked after 5 goals. And that was the game that the Sabres hung 9 and put a big spanking on the Leafs.
And I think the last time UPL has played the Leafs, he got hooked. Because I don't think it was UPL playing that game against the Leafs on that one. But the last time he did, he was yanked in like the first period or something. So I don't know, Burnsy, this could go either way. This could be a 9-8 shootout when Matthews has 17 fucking points in this one, or it could just not happen. But I mean, if I'm looking for prop bets on this one, if we believe that the over is going to happen, you got to believe it's going to happen with guys like Matthews on the score sheet, Marner on the score sheet, maybe Bertuzzi or even Domi. So it wouldn't be a terrible idea to maybe parlay a couple of those guys together to get some really good value. But at the end of the day, we need goals. So if we're counting on a high scoring game, wouldn't hurt. I mean, I don't think Matthews has scored a ton lately either. Like, he's kind of cooled down a little bit too. So this could be a good opportunity for him to get going again.
Well, I'm locked in on Buffalo here. I love watching the Leafs burn. So I got them at plus 160 all day, every day. Let's go fucking Buffalo for sure.
Nice.
All right, on to our next game. We only got 3 on the slate tonight. So we got Detroit going into Colorado. Detroit plus 165, Colorado minus 220 here. Over under set at 6.5. Detroit's had a weird last 10 games. They went on a 6-game winning streak, but they dropped the last 2. They lost to the Isles. They lost to the Powerhouse. They got shut out by Florida. They got some guys banged up, but this is definitely a team of depth here. Larkin's still out. Seems like Patty Kane has woken up. He's got a 10-game point streak, 15 points the last 10 until Florida shut him out. They got 12 guys on the roster in double-digit goals. So although Larkin is that speed demon that really knows how to drive the offense, I mean, they still have a lot of inconsistencies as far as pressure time in the O-zone. We were talking last week about how they're like this analytics anomaly, how they spend no time in the offensive zone, but they score a bunch of fucking goals.
Yeah, and the tough one I have with this one is the fact that the game is in Colorado, because when Colorado goes on the road, they are just two different teams, and I don't understand it. I don't understand how Colorado hasn't even lost a game in overtime at home this year. They have 0. They're 24-6-0. But on the road, they're 14-19. I'm going to call it 19 because I don't count the overtime losses because nobody gives a shit. If you're betting on those games and you lose them, shootout, overtime, it don't matter. You're losing. So
L's or L's.
They're below 5 L's or L's, no matter how you shape them. And unfortunately, it's tough to be on the wrong side of those, but that's part of the game. But when you look at Colorado at home and how good they are, but on the road they're terrible, it makes you wonder, like, how does this happen? Why is this Colorado team so different on the road? Like, they got smacked up 5-1 against Nashville. And, Nashville is arguably one of the hottest teams in the league right now, but it wasn't that long ago they went into Detroit and lost in overtime there, and then they lost again in Tampa. So it's a tough one for Colorado to play this crappy on the road, but luckily tonight they're at home, so never mind that. But at $1.85, you're not getting a ton of value taking Colorado at home. I mean, the head-to-head is 9-1 in Colorado's favor, with that last loss actually just coming a couple weeks ago. So, if you're looking at this game, you might want to be looking at the over/under and kind of what's been going on there. Colorado's had some really good goaltending. Like we said earlier, Detroit is kind of, quieted down after their little rant earlier. They got shut out last game. And it's funny when you notice the last 2 losses for Detroit, they've come when they get under 25 shots on net. They lose those games. Every game in this winning streak, 31, 31, 34, 30, 32, they need to get the puck to the net. And like you said, it's a big anomaly and a question mark with them, how they win games and they never are in the end, the offensive end. So it's, so it's a tough one. Georgiev is supposed to get the start tonight. So, I'm expecting him to play well, as he usually plays well at home. Noonan's been actually pretty good. I know it's been Chicago and everyone, it's Chicago, but you know what? He put up a 37 save shutout. His last one. 37 saves against any team in the NHL it should be recognized. And he shut him out twice in a row. Good for him. He's a young player. He could be the new face of Colorado. A good 1B option deep in the playoffs if things don't go right for Georgiev, which does happen with him. So it's tough to look at Detroit as a real winner to come into Colorado tonight and steal it on the road. But I mean, crazier things have happened.
I mean, not only does Colorado own an amazing home record, I mean, they also own fucking Detroit, dude. Yeah. They're 9-1 in the last 10.
Yeah.
The last game, it took overtime, took Patty Showtime, with the overtime winner to break that streak. I mean, I don't know if it keeps going. I mean, I got a couple things on Detroit that I just don't like about their game right now. I mean, Alex Lyon, he's had a rough couple games here. He's given up 11 goals in the last 3 starts. I was telling you earlier, I didn't realize that this guy's 31 years old. So these appearances that he's had this year, this is the most time that he's ever played. And he looks kind of downright a little tired. So as much as it's nice that a Noonan, has played well, what that does is that allows Georgiev to get rest. I mean, who else does Detroit have to give Alex Lyon this rest? Who are you relying on here?
Well, and we talked about this with Vancouver too, and Thatcher Demko getting the start every fucking night, and then they took a little bit of a skid, and then finally they went back to DeSmith, and he against the Ducks the other night, and he had a really good game. I felt like that was a good confidence game for him, and that gave Demko the chance to take a night off, reset, do his thing, and then obviously Vancouver goes out and wins a 2-1 tight one. Really big, really important game last night for them. So, I don't even more of a reason to stay away from Detroit in this spot. I mean, if it was James Reimer, he's been pretty good all year. He's got just over 900 save percentage. So I don't know why the Red Wings are really pushing Lyon here. He played the 27th, he had a day off, then he played the 29th, and then he had a day off, and then he played again the 2nd, and now it's been a few days off. I mean, it's the 6th now, so he hasn't played in a couple days, but why not give him a little bit more of a break? Look what Shesterkin did after the All-Star break when he kind of got sat for a couple games. And so he had the All-Star break, which he attended, but that's not really exhausting. And then quick played a couple. Shesterkin got in the pipes again, and then he got red hot, right? And I don't know why Detroit's forcing Lyon into these spots right now, and especially when they're fighting for their life. So. And I get it. You want to go to your good number one guy, but sometimes your number one guy needs a little bit of a break, and you got to put a little faith in your number two guy and a team to come out with a good character win.
I mean, Detroit's feeling the pressure right now. They got some teams behind them playing some decent hockey, trying to make a bid for that last spot here. But it's almost like, to your point of shelling Lyon right back out there. I mean, not sound like an asshole, but do you really think you're going to fucking win this game? It's almost like, why fucking not throw Reimer out there? Give the kid a fucking break. You're facing the now leading goal scoring offense in the fucking league. I mean, at this point, Colorado is they're just fine tuning shit, getting ready for a cup one. They win 15 in the last 17. 11 of them are by more than 2 goals. Like, they are just a fucking machine right now, dude.
The tough time and the part that I'm really trying to figure out with Detroit is okay. If we win, great. You stole one in Colorado. That's awesome. But what if Colorado puts up a 5 spot on your number one guy? What's that going to do to him? He's already been struggling. Give him a break. I don't know what the Detroit schedule looks like the next 3, but I guarantee you the next team that they're playing isn't Colorado. Or a Colorado caliber team, I know they're obviously on the West Coast, so I don't know. But what I'm saying is there might be a better spot for Lyon to come in to kind of do a reset on the ice. Why not put Reimer in? No, I'm with you 100%, Burnsy, and I think they're just overplaying their hand a little bit. But we'll see.
Listen, I think Detroit's going to show some fight here, but this is abs all day, brother. And Nathan McKinnon, dude. He's just a man possessed. He's got 20 points in his last 10, 9-game point streak here. I mean, I know you're going to have to shell out some money for anytime points on him, but you put that together with a money line Colorado bet here, chinch it down a little bit, make a couple bucks. I think Avs are just going to fucking roll them here.
It kind of feels like that, just the way things have been going with Detroit the past couple.
All right, let's finish off with the marquee matchup for tonight. We got Ottawa in Anaheim. Yeah, unfortunately, we do have to talk about these guys. Ottawa, the heavy favorite, minus 165. Anaheim plus 140. Over under here set at 6.5. I was kind of surprised to see that number that high. 5-5 heads up. The last 10 between these two teams. The unders cashed 9 times. You got 2 teams here that can't stop the puck and can't fucking score. So just no offense against no fucking defense. Who wins in a situation like that?
So when you look at them from a record perspective, you think, oh, Ottawa, wow, they're 17-14 at home, but they're nowhere near a playoff. Oh, that's why they've won 8 games on the road all year. They've won 8 games. So you got to factor that in. Like, hey, this is like, that's not much better than Chicago. What is Chicago's won? What, 5 on the road, I think. And to associate the Senators team that isn't rebuilding. They should be a lot better than that road record. But then on the flip side, it's like, okay, well, Anaheim, oh, fuck, they've only won 9 times at home. So this is a matchup of the under 10 wins at their respective locations tonight. It's kind of a fucked up one. And you know what? This could go either way. Anaheim, though, is actually they've got a little bit of a better story here with the Hostel in net. You know, he stopped 55 saves from your Devils the other night.
Oh, remind me, dude.
Oh, I thought just making sure you didn't forget that Anaheim beat you. But 55 saves. You know, I know New Jersey was throwing everything and the kitchen sink at him at some points in that game to try to get something by him, and it just didn't work. So you got to give him some credit. He's kind of riding a hot hand right now, because then after the day after, he almost took one from Vancouver, the best team in the West. You know, they lost 2-1 in that game. He had 31 saves and a 9.35. And then if you look at Ottawa, their goaltending, well, you know, there's even some 600s and low 800s on their stat sheet. So it's a tough one to say. I really like the under because these two teams really seem to not score goals against each other. I mean, Ottawa's goaltending can't be awful every game, can it? I don't know.
I guess we're going to find out.
I will for sure. I will 100% not be watching this game.
Well, listen, to boot on Ottawa, I mean, Josh Norris is out for the year. You know, Kachuk's a little banged up. He's day-to-day. He'll probably get the nod in this one. I mean, they're really going to have to rely on Giroux, Batherson, Timmy Stützle. You know, he's got 9 points in the last 10. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, Anaheim is playing the best stretch of hockey that they've had for the season. I mean, they fucking kicked the shit out of my Devils. They took LA to overtime and gave them all that they could handle, man. I actually watched that game, and they took it to them. They were pushing the pace. They beaten Buffalo, and then they beat the fucking Sharks the other night. But even against the Sharks, man, I mean, like, this team, they're the number one penalized team in the league, and they can't keep the fucking puck out. They give up 3 power play goals to the Sharks. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It could be a special teams kind of game. It could be a special teams kind of game. It's tough to say. I watched a lot of Anaheim games this year for whatever reason. They were playing against somebody that I wanted to watch them for our research, and I was actually really impressed with a lot of things that they had right. I mean, I think their back end is their biggest problem. They turned the puck over a lot on breakouts and in that neutral zone. But you know, and then you got to look at Ottawa. You're talking about injuries. You know, Tarasenko just got dealt today, right? So I know he's not the same superstar he was when he played for St. Louis when they won their cup, but he still had a pretty good season with Senators with respect to where they are in the standings. So now you lose that guy. He's a pretty decent guy to have on your special teams on the power play and stuff like that. The guy can shoot the puck. He's got an absolute cannon of a snapper on him. So that's going to be a big loss for Sens tonight. So I don't know. Burnsy, is this going to be underdog night of the week here with Anaheim at plus big money, even at plus 1.5? We start the game with a 1-0 lead, and it still pays minus 145 here.
I mean, this may be a 1-0 fucking game, dude. You know, but I wonder too, like you said about Tarasenko getting moved here. Like, what does that do to a young locker room, right? Like, I mean, they went on a little bit of a hot streak not too long ago, and now they've just been fucking miserable. I mean, when do they just keep their eye on the fucking golf course and just mail it in at this point? Like, all right, well, I wonder who else is going to get fucking dealt. This team's not going to be together. Let's just get through the last 20 games of this season and be done with this shit.
I don't think that's going to happen because guys are still playing for commitment, contract extensions, trade baits, you know, whether it's this year or in the off season. You know, at the end of the day, they're hockey players, and hockey players compete where they win or lose. I just played beer league the other night. We were up 7-3, and these guys were still coming at us like they were going to win the game. So, I mean, this is just kind of how the whole mindset of hockey players are wired. You know, nobody likes to fucking lose, especially hockey players. So I don't think anyone's going to pack their shit up until that final game 82. So, but I definitely give Anaheim more credit in this game than Ottawa.
Well, one thing I'm going to keep an eye on, and I'm going to put a couple shekels on, is Frankie Vetrano. He's only been held off the score sheet 4 games since February. I got it anytime points at minus 125. A little bit of value there. So we'll see how this stinker fucking works out, or we'll check it out tomorrow.
I don't mind Pinto over half a point on this game either. I think he's been a big part to this Ottawa lineup. And if they can get a couple past Dostal, I bet you Pinto's got something to say about it.
Well, if Pinto knows one thing, it's taking a gamble, right?
Ooh, too soon. Too soon. What am I talking about? He's probably one of our leading subscribers to our service.
All right, guys. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hope we gave you a little bit of insight into three games that are on tonight. Listen, we're in the final push here. Only 20 games left. We got the playoffs right around the corner. I mean, this is where shit really gets goofy. Our team's going to mail them in. Team's going to fight extra hard. This is where you guys need less more than ever. Make sure you guys get over to whylose.com. If you want to dip your toes in the water, we got $49 day passes. We got specials coming up. $100 weeks, $300 months. Not that bad. Les, how else can they connect with you?
We're everywhere. We're on, like you said, Telegram's a big place where we post a lot of our free picks. So make sure you like the Telegram. Instagram channel has been growing like crazy. It went from 0 to over almost 2,000 subscribers, watchers in like 3.5 weeks, Burnsy. So that channel's really getting a lot of traction from people. They love the free picks. I think our free picks have been like 80% in the last 10 days. Like that's just been absolutely lights out. And that was just the ones I've been giving. Your prop bets have been equally as good, if not even better, Burnsy. So I got to tip my cap to you. Yeah, you're coming for my job here, but no, we got a lot of good stuff coming on. This is the last 5-6 weeks until playoffs start. So let's get in it, man. Let's get in it and make that money.
All right, guys, we'll catch you back over here tomorrow. For Les, I'm Mike. This is Puck U. Enjoy the hockey tonight.